Nusrat.
Yeah, Nusrat. That's it's just, Pakistani Pavarotti is just an extraordinary voice. I saw him at a WOMAD in Essex for the very first time, and it just blew me away, because in a sense it was compositional. He was improvising all the time, and the fluency of what he was generating and writing, as well as integrating with this sort of very focused acoustic sort of powerhouse thing from the musicians with him, and the chant and refrain thing that was going on. It was just very powerful. I think it's interesting, the whole history of music and relationship to spiritual stuff, and even I think as I get older I'm more atheist, but the power of the spiritual content of music increases for me in some ways.
Was hearing somebody like Nusrat, did that change you in how you hear music?
Yeah, no, I think all of my encounters with these remarkable singers and musicians from other cultures, I think opened me up and allowed me to see my own work from a different perspective. And often, I've always felt like a songwriter, and I'm a bit lazy as a musician. I don't work in the way that these people have obviously done since they were, fell out of their mother's womb. So there was a sort of admiration as well for just what they can deliver with the voice. It's making me, I want people that make me feel something or think about something, and best of all, both.
Peter, you set up Real World Records in 1989, having already explored the presentation of world music from all corners of the planet to the public through the success of WOMAD. But how did you make Real World work as a kind of an entity for presenting a sort of curated selection of voices? What were the criteria? How did you give it unity, sort of coherence?
It was about, I think, being sensitive to them and getting out of the way, and yet giving them enough sort of... It's a bit like parenting in some ways, I think. You've got to give people support and a sort of sense of that it's safe, a safe space that they can explore themselves. And I hope that's what I've achieved, with some of the recordings with some of the amazing musicians we work with. There'll be sometimes quite a simple chord and melody or musical environment in which they can take and just make very much their own and do their thing with. I think I've always been smart enough to work with great musicians. So, it's sometimes getting out of the way.
That was the unique and transcendental voice of Yungchen Lamo from Tibet, one of the many extraordinary artists brought to us by Real World Records. Peter, you're someone who has used music, used your voice, your songwriting, your presence on the world stage as a powerful political tool. I'm thinking here of your association with Amnesty International, the founding of the Elders with Mary Robinson and others, and your long-standing activities for humanitarian causes down through the years. Have these activities come naturally to you? Where did the instinct come from to reach out, to help, to use music as a powerful agent for change and the raising of awareness?
Well, I think if you look historically, any important thing that went on in gatherings of people was accompanied by music of one sort or another, good and bad, because those in power, or instinctively, people knew that it had power to it and it could unite people. And I think it plugs direct into the nervous system, whereas most other arts and culture go through more complicated filtering mechanisms in the brain. You know, supposedly like the South Sea Islanders would hit skeletons because there would be resonance of the length of the vertebrae with the living person. So, you know, the xylophone or the frequency of the tones and the harmonies were used for healing. And I'm still very interested in all that sort of healing aspect of music.
Like a lot of people, Peter, I'd be very curious to know more about how you write. That process that is particular to you as you dream up songs, fashion the words, come up with the music and bring it to completion as something that has a sense of itself, a sense of completeness. I've heard you once sing Sky Blue live and talk about how you know the moment when a song has really come together, as it were, has suddenly kind of come to life.
When you write a song, sometimes they just fall out of the air and land on your lap. This was not one of those. This song took years to finish. But it was when we actually recorded some amazing voices on the end chorus that I got the old shivers down the spine, and I knew that it was finally complete. This is Sky Blue.
Can you shed some light on the responses you get, the feelings you get, the instinct, the awareness that comes to you when you know that a song has reached that point of ignition, that point of coming into being?
One of the things I learned very early on is record every bloody thing. Every time noise is made, you've got to be recording it. Because I would do this thing as a songwriter where you think, oh, that's a good idea, I'll do that, develop that later on. And you come back and you play exactly the same thing, and it's gone. And you think that magical thing that was in the room can be there again, but it's dead. And you think, what's this lifeless corpse? Why was I interested in this? It smells bad, it looks bad, I don't want it. And then you go back to the recording and you say, okay, I actually delayed that phrase here. There was a slightly different accent in the rhythm here. And you suddenly get the detail, but allows, because there's very subtle things, you know, I think, these things that can turn music into magic or crap.
Because they just happen.
Yeah.
A complex, kind of a string of events. They all have to chime.
And and I can feel a little bit now on the back when you get something, like the hairs on the neck, or for me it's some more sort of liquid feeling down the spine. It's definitely some nervous thing. So to me it's maybe more like tuning a shortwave radio in or something, that you try different things, going left to right, backwards and forwards until you found where the signal's strong, and then you try and turn the volume up.
One more time, please, for the amazing Blind Boys of Alabama.
But you sort of know, I think, and I do love the way you sing, as I've said to you many times, that you capture emotion for me on a very regular basis, and make me feel something. And I think you do learn that, and you get better at it, because you sort of know what it is that you have to do to suck in the right things from the wind.
Some people say it's a place you go.
Yeah.
But of course, you're positioning it differently. It's an arrangement of things that you can make happen.
Yeah.
What do you think it is? How's that done? I mean, you have to access that bright point. You want to get right into what you want it to feel.
Yeah.
How does it...
I'm not sure. Lyric writing is the thing that is the biggest struggle for me in trying to be creative, to get stuff that I can actually read and I don't cringe. And I have to work at it, and it's hard work. But I've always been lucky, I think, that I feel I can sit down at a piano, start making noises with my fingers and my voice, and something will happen that, touch wood, has not left me. So it may not always deliver or get finished, but it seems to work.